And you do see a lot of people in apocalyptic situations wearing their little jumpers. And I thought, that's weird. Where are
Why?
the sheep?
Where are the sheep? The sheep? I'm not seeing sheep.
No, you guys, I'm not, like, that wasn't even a joke.
Hi, and welcome back to The Bias Cut. Today, we will be talking about knitwear and dystopian movies. Why are we always seeing knitwear in dystopian movies? What is the meaning of this? And what's the meaning?
What is the meaning of this?
But also, like, just looking at some of our favorite dystopian movies and the knitwear in it. Sana is going to be leading the episode. Sana is a knitwear queen, icon extraordinaire.
I knit.
Truly knitting genius.
Wow.
Can like form things in your brain and then put it into a physical thing. It's incredible. You have to check out her knitwear shop too, Smithereens. But Sana will be leading the episode, so take it away.
Let's go.
Hello, editing Sanjana here. Just wanted to say that this whole episode was actually inspired by a knitwear designer on Instagram, at the Knit Edit. I believe her name is Charlie. And this whole thing was just inspired by, a couple of years back, she had talked about doing a paper about dystopian knitwear and how knitwear is used in this genre of film and TV. So just wanted to give credit where credit is due. I did reach out to Charlie, but she wasn't able to get back to me before we film this. So just wanted to include this here, just to say I am not the first person to come up with this idea, and I'm sure there are many other people that have also noticed this trend. So definitely go give her a follow. She's an incredible knitwear designer. Just wanted to give a little shout out. Enjoy the video.
So I just wanted to do this because it's the intersection of my two loves, which is like film and TV and knitwear. And you do see a lot of people in apocalyptic situations wearing their little jumpers. And I thought, that's weird. Where are the sheep?
Where are the sheep? I'm not seeing sheep.
No, you guys, I'm not, like, that wasn't even a joke. That was my main.
No, you're right.
No, you're pointing to something really important, honestly.
Whenever I see dystopian films and everyone's in knitwear, I'm like, you guys, where are the sheep? Who's looking after them? Who's shearing them? So that's kind of what started it all. The main one, we were talking about Sunrise and the Reaping. They released a few new, like, I don't know, set photos and stuff, which got me thinking about the Hunger Games again, as we do regularly. We talk about it all the time.
It's always a topic of conversation.
Best series of books, best series
Truly.
of films. If you haven't rewatched it recently, I highly recommend.
Oh. And such a fantastic adaptation of those books, too.
Right?
Like,
It's so
incredible.
good.
good on their own, but just all around good. Yeah.
And I realised that I personally think the costumes for the second film are the best ones, Catching Fire.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the-
Okay.
that
I
was
think the second
Yeah.
one is really the best one kind of all around.
I think
will
so
say.
too.
100%.
Yeah. And so
You got all your people.
you got all the people.
You got all the people.
And we see Katniss in a lot of knitwear. She's out here in some really random knitwear.
Well, she won the game. She's got money. She's got money for the sheep.
She's got money for the sheep. So I've included like the two most famous ones, I think, which is this one arm cowl situation. It's like half a vest, kind of a
That's the
scarf.
thing about like dystopian knitwear is that it's all kind of asymmetrical.
It's all
Yes,
asymmetrical.
truly.
They use kind of atypical stitches. Like the stitches used here To be honest, I don't even really know what's going on here. There's a lot.
It's kind of like a thneed, you know? Remember the thneed?
It all comes back to the Lorax.
It always
And
comes
it
back
all
to the
comes
Lorax.
back.
This knitwear was made by... Oh, I've zoomed in my screen. I can't zoom out. Okay, everything's fine. The designer is, I believe, Maria Dora is the designer. She made this little cowl neck thing. And then you also have this black jumper. I couldn't confirm this, but people seem to think the designer is Alice Lemoine,
Okay.
who I believe was a knitwear designer for Rick Owens, if you know the brand. Who's very like avant-garde, dystopian, apocalyptic in his general aesthetic. So the costume designer for this film is Trish Somerville. So she came in new for this film. The first one was a different costume designer. I don't know her name, I'm sorry. But I think Trish killed it with this one. I think she really upped the aesthetics of the whole world. And in relation to this knitwear, she says, I wanted to bundle up her, Katniss, up a bit. I wanted to give her something that had a feel of the capital, but still keeping in with those nubby, big, natural fibres. Okay.
Okay.
I don't like that word.
I don't like that word either. Nubby? Okay. Something, say, her mum could have made for her. So it's supposed to be like a security blanket that accompanies Katniss on her hunting expeditions, but also on the victory tour itself. It's supposed to marry both sides of her duality, having her heart at home, but also fitting into the capital world without selling out. So that's a lot to put on this little garment.
Truly.
But I do think it does a lot. I think the asymmetry and the kind of weird stitches is bringing it into the capital, is giving the idea that it's still kind of this fashionable item. And this touches on a theme that you'll see throughout all of these costumes, is the idea of knitwear and natural fibers as being more authentic or somehow more moral in a way, because I think it comes down to the symbolic connotations of knitwear. Its softness, it's gentler, it's handmade. There is just this idea of it being closer to humanity almost. And I just thought that that's an interesting way of including it in this dystopian setting of the capital, where everything immoral and twisted about capitalism.
Wearing lots of bright, plasticky fabrics.
Synthetic.
Yes.
All very much a facade. And this knitwear, I guess, is supposed to contrast that whilst also kind of showing that she has to still comply in some way. And I included Mr. Finnick, our resident hottie, Mr.
Hottie alert, hottie alert. Baddie alert, baddie alert.
Perfect, amazing.
Honey, that thing I did back there for Peter, I was called saving his life. If I wanted to kill either of you, I would have done it by now.
But as far as I remember, please do correct me, his district is related to fishing.
Yes, it's fishing, the sea.
So
Yes,
for him,
fisherman.
I am assuming that this cardigan is drawing on the fisherman cardigan and that kind of history of Irish and Scottish fishermen's Guernseys
Looks great.
and things like that. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun little twist, the clasps to modernize it. I don't know how I feel about the, like, again, the kind of asymmetry of it. Like, it just looks like he buttoned it wrong, but sure,
This
whatever.
looks like it's very like 20 teens. It's like
Yeah.
it feels very
Which is
of
what
that
it is.
time.
This film,
Exactly.
this
yeah.
film is 2013. Yeah.
Yes. I think, though, the difference between like him and Katniss is I'm pretty sure this is the first time we see him on screen. I think at like the reaping. And if you remember, you know, early on they're kind of trying, at least from Katniss's perspective, Finnick is like a capital boy. You know, he's like a class traitor. He is fully bought into that world. We know that's not true, of course, but I wonder if making it's not true. He didn't do anything wrong.
He's really sweet.
He's actually really traumatized. I think he has one of the worst. Like, I think he goes through
he's
some of
got
the
it the
worst.
worst. Can we say that? Yeah.
He goes through it during the trials and after in a big
Like,
way.
he was literally
Before,
trafficked,
during,
you guys,
after.
please.
So of course he has a nice sweater. That's the least of the problems here. But I wonder, if like it leans a little more, I think. And, it's like a very crisp cream color
Yes.
Yeah.
with the asymmetry with like those, what are like those buttons, clasps, something.
Yeah, the weird metal clasps.
Yeah.
We'll see a lot of the kind of organic versus inorganic thing going on with the knitwear. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense, though, that he would come off a little more capital, a little more polished.
Yes. His cardigan does not feature nubby fibers.
Hey, woo, woo, woo.
Woot, woot. That looks like a nice, smooth merino wool.
No nubs.
Yeah.
No nubs.
I keep on thinking when you say, I keep on thinking big naturals when you say nubby naturals. Like, I don't like it.
Well, I think what she meant was slubs, which isn't any better. Because slubs is like the term of when you get those, if you have slubs in silk, it's inconsistencies in kind of the width. You'll get like little lumpy bits in it.
Okay.
Which I think is what she meant, but nub nub.
Nub nub.
Guys, in case you haven't realized already, we're all going through it a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just bear with us, okay?
Our brains are not here, but our hearts are here.
Yeah.
On to Divergent. So in the YA theme, I thought I'd start off with the YA ones because that's how I was kind of introduced to dystopian films. I don't know about you both.
Yeah, same.
That was definitely what got me into it all. And so for Divergent, you have, I've forgotten all of their names.
Got Triss, I think.
Triss.
Oh my god, Triss.
And she starts off, so in this world, there are, what,
Four categories, and then you can be divergent.
Right.
Wait. Let's go through them. So there's abnegation.
Abnegation.
There's abnegation.
You could do so. You want him to do you so much you could do anything.
There's the smart one. There's the selfless one. There's the brave one.
Isn't it?
There's the other one. They're just honest. Isn't that the whole thing?
Yeah, I guess that's.
And then there's the nice one. There's 5. There's 5 factions. But
factions, that's what they were called.
Or you could be divergent.
Abnegation, amity, candor, dauntless, and erudite.
Erudite, that's it. She literally, those are just
Can I be
adjectives.
a hater?
Yes, be a hater.
What does this mean?
Nothing. She just wanted to wait to create.
Okay. So like the Hunger Games is like so thoughtful and so intentional, every little detail. And then this one's kind of just like if you're a divergent lover and you are
I think everyone
really
can recognize
story,
it's trash.
Like comment down below, let me know. I'd be happy to like have this conversation. But is there is there any deeper meaning besides like what if we split it up by a personality trait? Like there's not really any.
From what I remember, it was written for teens. It's YA written for teens. And I loved it when I first read it. I did not like the film because I think I'd just grown out of it.
I love Theo James. Gotta say that.
He, to me, looks like Ted. Like, you know the bear.
Who's Ted?
Right. Yes.
Okay. And will you put those side by side here and comment down below?
100%.
Comment down below. Do you think Theo James looks like
together?
Ted? Comment.
No
down below.
Disrespect to Mr. Theo James.
I don't think so. I love that man. But I want to know what the people think. Do you like? Can
My
we do a
brain
poll?
just makes connections and I can't help it.
I'm so curious.
You're just speaking the truth. Listen, sometimes
it's my truth. Okay?
There is something. He has like a strong brow.
It's the
that
eyebrows.
Ted also has.
That's literally it, Maggie. That's it. No, you guys, this is gonna make this 2 hours again.
Guys, okay.
okay. But yeah, no, there's no deeper meaning to Divergent other than they just wanted to break people up into factions.
I think
I feel like it's super silly, but honestly there's something about those movies that because they're so bad, I like have to, I love watching them. Like every couple of years I watch Divergent because I'm like, I just need it. In that moment, I need it.
So the costume designer for Divergent is Carlo Poggioli. I'm so sorry, Carlo. Poggioli?
Okay.
Poggioli. Sure. Carlo Poggioli. And he says the abnegation faction puts other people's needs in front of their own with no hesitation. The colours they wear are shades of grey. The fabrics are all natural fibres and very plain, like wool and cotton. So again, we have here the idea of wool and knitted items being like simpler and more natural and more one with nature.
Moral. It's like there's like a moral value to it.
It's and I get it. I just, again, like it's a soft fabric. It's a comforting fabric. I do understand those connotations. It's just interesting that dystopian film really loves to like latch onto that as a visual language. I also included Maze Runner. They're not wearing like knit jumpers, but they are wearing like knitted fabrics. So there's a lot of jerseys. I've forgotten the name of it. Is it a Henley jersey?
A Henley.
They were really doing the Henleys in this one.
Definitely.
Yes. So the costume designer sourced reproduction Henleys from like based on the 19th century undergarments. They were really going for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think it's this way of using knits in dystopian is to do with more like the physicality of the films, and they are films that require a lot of movement, and they tend to draw on inspiration from like military wear and these kind of like uniforms that were worn for particular purposes. So I just chucked that in there, mainly just to include Dylan O'Brien, my boy.
I helped kill your friend. How do you know I'm not going to kill another one? See, looking at me? Are you threatening me? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to break off an extra large branch of mountain ash, wrap it in wolfsbane, roll it in mistletoe, and shove it up your freaking styles. Okay, get it.
My boy.
Love you.
Love you. Come on the pod.
Please come on the pod. Literally
Give us one of your shirts like you did Brittany Broski.
Yes.
Please don't do that. That's actually kind of weird. I don't know why he did
No,
that.
I want it. I'll take it.
I just like,
He's
don't know why he
offering.
did that. Like, why did he bring those things to... Anyway.
Also, Dylan O'Brien teased for when we eventually do the Teen Wolf episode. It is coming.
Yeah.
A
It is
multi-part
coming.
series
It
on
is
Styles
truly.
and Lydia.
We'll go through every single episode.
we're just gonna go and do a rewatch. This is gonna become a Teen Wolf rewatch podcast.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
Have
And
any
I
of them
cannot
done that
wait.
yet? None of the
No, they
cast has
haven't.
done that yet. So we can.
I'm
swoop
surprised
in
Tyler Posey hasn't,
three
because
random
that's really
people.
all he's got going for him.
Aw.
Love you, Queen. No, I mean that in like,
Posey.
no, I just mean that in like he hasn't done anything else. Like, as a choice, has not done anything since Teen Wolf. He just like goes to conferences and stuff.
You get that
Yeah,
much
he was like a
money,
child
like,
actor too. Like he acted before
Yeah.
Teen Wolf.
It's
Yeah.
like Bridget Medler, who literally went off to like, she's like a rocket science or some
Exactly.
crap like that. Yeah.
Sorry, no disrespect on Mr. Posey's name. Love that boy. He seems like a sweet guy.
He
Really,
was
he
only
seems so sweet.
19. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway,
Moving on from the boys to some girly pops. Now, these are technically fantasy films, I think, but to me it's still kind of dystopian. So we have The Age of Ember, which is the Saoirse Ronan in this rainbow little set, and then next to that is The Golden Compass. Forgotten this actress's name. So sorry, little girl, who is probably not a little girl anymore. This film was 2007. But both of these I thought was interesting because it's the same costume designer. So the costume designer is Ruth Myers. The Age of Ember is, I believe, there's a whole society that has moved underground. So they've been underground for like 200 years or something. And supposedly, I was listening to an interview with Ruth Myers, and she was saying that the idea was that these people brought down everything that they would need to survive down there. So all of this clothing was like from 200 years ago. That's kind of the idea. So we had this little rainbow knitwear situation. I think it's cool because I think it's technically inside out.
Oh, interesting.
If I'm...
It kind of looks like it's patched together too, almost.
yeah, it looks like it's
Yeah.
been kind of taken apart and sewn together. So maybe it was like a woman's size, whatever, and was like remade into a child's jumper. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like a Fair Isle, but it's the wrong side. I like the color that they're bringing in because a lot of the times you see knitwear being pretty like drab, and it's usually because they're trying to emphasize the whole natural fiber thing. They tend to go towards the grays and the earth tones, which is fine. Like, but we know that I like a little bit of color, so I wanted to include these two because I thought they were cutie patooties.
I love these. I love that red jacket. It's so cute.
Yeah, this whole red cardigan look, and she's got
yeah.
these little I don't know. I guess it's like it was an adult size jumper that is worn by a child. She's got a little beanie. She's got the little boots, little ankle warmers.
So cute.
It's just so stinking cute.
I love it.
And the Golden Compass is based on a Philip Pullman book. It's very much fantasy. It's kind of in the realm of Narnia more than it is like sci-fi dystopian. But I just thought it was cute, so I put it in.
This like patchworky kind of element to the knitwear kind of makes me think about, because I've seen like patchwork stuff also in dystopian things. So
Yeah.
it seems like it's like almost like like you've been saying, the kind of like human touch that you get to see, like maybe draws people into the like, or like you said, contrasts the outside world, and so it's kind of all like you're just seeing the human side, I guess.
And I also think a lot of these films kind of reference sustainability out of necessity. Like they're in these settings where they have no choice but to make things last and to repurpose things. I think that's where a lot of the knitwear kind of comes from. So now we're going to get into some sci-fi and some aliens. Woo! Another thing that really inspired this episode was the end of Bugonia. So spoiler alert to anyone who has not seen Bugonia.
Big
because
spoiler
it is a
alert.
relatively big spoiler alert. Wee, 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 wee.
Literally
We
stop
could
here.
we could put a timestamp
Yeah.
for where to skip to. It ends with Emma Stone's character is revealed to be an alien, and she runs away and escapes from her captors to her spaceship, which is shown to be a massive organ, and inside are these aliens in these weird, different fiber arts creations. I managed to find some like behind the scenes photos. So the costume designer for Bugonia was Jennifer Johnson, and she said she was very interested in the alien costumes conveying something communal. When capitalism is run amok and it's completely dissolved into chaos, what do we have left? Who are the real creators in this world? So these people, I'm guessing she means the aliens, are knitters. I really ran with it, and Yorgos is wonderful. He lets you be you when he hires his people. Love you, Yorgos. The main master knitter was Trevor Collins, and a team of people hand knit these patterns. So they used, you know, poster tubes, just the tubes you get posters in.
Yeah.
They made little cones for the tips, and they used those as knitting needles. So cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then the actual knitting is, I think it's like horsehair.
Whoa.
If you've ever, like horsehair tubes and crinoline. So yeah, it's all handmade, which I was surprised by. I thought that this was CGI. I did
Same
not
with
realize
me.
that these were real.
That's crazy.
They must have given it like kind of like a finishing in post to make it
I'm
look
sure,
more
yeah.
like less of like of our world, because I thought that it was CGI as well.
Yeah, but if you see the close up of the knitting,
That's so cool.
It does look otherworldly. Like the crinoline gives, and like horsehair makes it look like
That's
CGI. It's
crazy. Wow.
And then they also, so it's not just knitting, there was some macrame and crochet involved as well. But yeah, just super weird. Like I like
so
this
crazy.
use of knitwear because it's using it in an unconventional way and really pushing the technique. Because I feel like the dystopian knitwear can kind of fall into this trope a little bit, and it just doesn't, it's not as visually interesting on screen anymore because it's kind of lost its, I don't know, it just feels, I don't want to say lazy, but it can sometimes feel a little bit lazy. I don't know.
Well, I mean, just for like myself and like my reaction to this like end scene of Bugonia, like it's because we're talking about how knitwear like kind of has this like comforting, like when you look at it on screen, it's like it's meant to be comforting and soft. The scene in Bugonia, like that knitwear made me feel so unsettled. Like there was something really like almost grotesque about it. And I've never experienced that with knitwear. You never like have that experience because it's always that comforting, like soft feel. Looking at this, I was like, ugh, like something about it felt like really.
There's something like intestine about it.
Yeah.
Icky,
Exactly.
unsettling. Yeah, but you're right.
Which
like,
is just so
knitwear is
impressive.
so cozy. And so, for them to be able to flip it. Yeah. Crazy.
It's just really cool.
Exactly.
And the
It's
whole
so
ship
impressive.
as well was supposed to be based on, like organs. It had like a liver room and a heart room and things like this. So the design was all meant to be very visceral and very like physical. And organic, again, this word organic keeps getting thrown around with knitwear, which I find very interesting because it's not a word that I would necessarily use to describe it. But
And also, what does that even mean necessarily? Like,
what it is kind of a cop-out word, I do think.
Yeah.
Just to bring it back to the history of it all, because obviously starting with Bugonia, I was like, this is really cool. Let's look into the history of sci-fi and knitwear. And I think one of the most probably recognizable historical sci-fi knits is the Matrix one. When Neo wakes up, he's in this distressed grey knit sweater. So for anyone who hasn't watched the Matrix, do I need to do a synopsis of the Matrix? I don't know. But the whole idea is spoiler alert. The like running theme of the film is that there are these two like different realities. So you have the simulation and then you have like lived reality. So the way that was approached in terms of costume design was that the non-simulated reality aboard a battered hovercraft, the crew's wearing kind of blue-washed, faded, distressed layers, reflecting, as I mentioned before, sustainability necessitated by their apocalyptic existence. So the real world was a world of recycling. When someone dies, their uniform gets washed, goes back in the closet of military clothes to be repurposed. Anything they have, they make out of recycled things that they find. And I think knitwear, again, is one of the easiest ways to do that. And also, because for anyone who doesn't know, there's a costume department and there's also a department called the breakdown department. So they're the ones that make the clothes look lived in, and for these kind of apocalyptic... oh my God, I'm fine.
I'm fine.
I'm fine. For these apocalyptic films, the breakdown department is kind of one of the most important aspects of costume design. And I think knitwear lends itself really well to the breakdown because you can make it look visibly distressed very easily. You can undo stitches, you can create ladders. So in this Matrix jumper, you have that ladder right at the top of the neckline. You have the staining, like they've darkened the neckline. They've also looked like they've kind of sagged it a bit. So that it's literally like falling off his body. In the close-up of the seams, they've probably reseamed it as well at the shoulder to make it look a little bit more ragged. And they've like pulled some of the stitches. So all of that is like, those are people doing that. I always think that's a really cool part of costume design.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Because it really tells a story. It's like, how
Exactly,
did that seam rip? What happened? Why is it stained? Like, it's all part of the story of the clothing.
Having the like tattered sleeves, because that's the first thing that breaks down on a jumper. All of those little details. I also included a photo of the Fifth Element because she's wearing a little... I've forgotten what her character's name is. Do you remember what her character's
Oh my
name
gosh,
is?
what is her name?
Begins with an M.
Lilu?
Well, I was
Lilu.
wrong.
It's
Miller.
Miller, exactly.
The actress. Okay.
Yeah. It's Lilu.
Well, it's Lilu. So we have Lilu here in a little white ribbed crop top. I believe all of the outfits for Fifth Element were by Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Yes, yeah.
Yep. So everything in this film is very like sexy and kind of, in that vein. But I think it's still interesting that they brought in knitwear here because a lot of people don't associate knitwear with the kind of sexy silhouette, even though it's they don't realize that like knitted fabric is what enables you to do these kind of skin tight silhouettes. So I threw this in here as like this is what knitwear can be too. Also,
It can be sexy.
It can be fun and sexy. I threw in Ryan Gosling in here because that's my guy. You can barely even see his little black jumper underneath, but that's It's Blade Runner
That's your guy.
2049.
Listen.
He is supposed to be like this military kind of figure. So you can see that black jumper being from that kind of uniform military aspect of his character. But I kind of just put him in here because I love him. Okay, one more alien. It's this little fish guy from The Mandalorian. He's just there. And
They
he's
just
wearing
got
his
that
little
like
jumper.
from Target.
They did.
Truly,
And
though.
again, it's because these aliens are supposed to be like fishermen, I guess. I don't know.
That's cute.
So they're using knitwear as a way to signal familiarity and to give like the audience something to like.
Yeah. Because like big scary
latch onto.
alien, you're like, whoa, but he's in a
Exactly.
sweater. He's just
in
a
his little
a
Aran
guy.
jumper.
He's just a fisherman, guys.
He's just a fisherman.
It's fine.
Thus
Anyway.
concludes aliens in knitwear.
Done.
Done. Now, my last bit is on the Handmaid's Tale / The Testaments, which I realize that you both haven't watched, but I still think you can give your opinion because you don't really need to know what's going on in order to unpack this. But essentially, The Handmaid's Tale the book was written in 1985 by Margaret Atwood. It is a dystopian novel about a woman called Offred who is forced into sexual slavery as a handmaid in the Republic of Gilead. This is a totalitarian theocratic state that replaces the US, forcing fertile women to bear children for elite couples. Boo, bad, very bad.
Boo, boo, boo.
And all the handmaids have to wear this wool. All of the costuming is done in these natural fibres because the whole idea of Gilead is that the old ways were evil and that's why women can't reproduce anymore because of all of these synthetic and chemicals, blah, blah, blah. And then you have The Testaments, which is set 15 years after the Handmaid's Tale TV show. And it follows the kind of younger generation. So these are women who have grown up in Gilead who are daughters of these elite couples. So they're not handmaids, but they are still kind of forced into marriages to older men. Fun. They also wear these like all plum, so they're called plum girls because they're not young girls anymore, but they haven't yet had their period, so they're still in this
They're
kind
plums.
of they're plums. Once they get their period, they're ready for marriage and they wear green.
Wow.
So the Testament follows the plum girls in their little woolen sets. But you see a bunch of girls in purple doing crafts. That's kind of what I wanted to ask you what your feelings are about this, because so a lot of this show is based in their school where they're being kind of prepared for marriage, and they do repeatedly include scenes of these girls learning different forms of fibre arts and crafts. So weaving, lace making, embroidery, knitting, etc., etc. I just found it interesting how much they emphasize this, because I understand wanting to show that they don't have this kind of formal education and they're not really allowed to, you know, have the standard education of that, you know, we get. And this idea of it's like a regression to like pre-industrial when women were mainly just taught crafts. But the way that they emphasize it so much, that just makes me feel like they're kind of reinforcing this idea that these kind of crafts and fibre arts are this somehow oppressive patriarchal tool. And I do understand that like choice plays a big factor in it. So these girls, you know, don't have a choice. It's just what they've been conditioned to do. But it just made me kind of uncomfortable. And I thought that this would be a good episode to kind of bring this up in, because it is a dystopian setting where it is these extremes of a kind of patriarchal oppressive society. But the actual history of these crafts is oftentimes a way that women were able to find some kind of power and some kind of semblance of autonomy by commodifying these crafts and like gaining some kind of financial freedom. So am I being too sensitive? What do you guys think?
I think you're dead on. I think they're playing really into the idea of, or what we often think of trad wives now, of like they do all of these like old crafts. And because of that like you said, that they're not having this like formal education, or they're not working, you know, in corporate America, or they're not, you know, whatever it is, like they're not doing the thing that all of the girl bosses are doing. And so because of that, those activities are regressive. And it makes me think a lot about like quilting. And because oftentimes people really think quilting, number one, is like an old lady's hobby, but also that it's this like it's something that like the Amish do, or like, you know, these really like patriarchal societies do, or like communities do, when quilting has one of the most like radical histories. Like a lot of these crafts have like it's because it's something that anyone can do. It's not just radical and it's not just regressive. It's existed in a regressive state, and it's also existed in a really radical state. Like you can't like, and so I think potentially, you know, them really emphasizing that, I think definitely signals a message that like this is like backwards. But then, you know, at the same time, like I know my mom really loves crafting videos and like watches crafting people on YouTube, and there's a big pocket of that community that are like trad wives, or like really conservative people who are like, you know, really pushing this idea.
Recently there's been kind of a blow up of that in the knitting community. So I follow I don't know if she calls herself a knitwear designer, but her name's Autumn. She runs an account called Size Inclusive Collective. And essentially she's created this repository for designers and knitters to just better learn about how to design for different bodies and how to properly grade and all of that. She's very outspoken in terms of her activism as well. And so she will regularly like call out certain larger knitting accounts who won't necessarily take stances against things, you know, and that kind of blew up. And now you have a lot of knitters being like, I'm unashamed to say that I'm a good Christian woman, and I believe that abortion is bad. I believe that there are only two genders, and blah 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 blah. And I won't let the knitting community make me feel blah, 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 blah. And it's like, girl,
it's got nothing to do with knitting.
Literally.
Like, sure, if you want to go like talk about that, like that's within your right. But like, it's this weird association. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know.
And it's like, so there are these kind of tensions within the fiber arts communities as well, of this, like constantly having to fight this assumption that these skills are somewhat conservative in nature, or signal a conservative ideology, when it's just, you're just making things. There's nothing inherently ideological about any of it.
We need to stay warm in the winter, like that's always
because it's something that is for the most part like majority female users, or like I don't know how to word it, but like it's a craft that like women mostly engage in. I think that it's been co-opted by so many different types of narratives in order to kind of, you know, push certain agendas. But it just made me, I mean, because I am a knitter myself, because I am involved in these fiber arts communities, when I see it in media, I am always hypersensitive to it. And I just couldn't ignore the fact that it was something that was continuously brought up. Like they created the set entirely for this purpose. The one thing I do like is that it shows this as one of the main times that these girls are able to actually talk to each other. And that is something that I liked, because that is true in the communal aspect of these crafts, is that oftentimes it was a way for women to gather and speak without
and that's when you gain class consciousness right there.
But like
literally.
I mean, in these contexts, it is a class. So you do have, they're called the aunts. They're like the teachers. You do have them. They're kind of policing things. But I mean, I've included a screenshot of this, like the girls all sitting in a circle, all facing each other. And I think that that's just a good depiction of how these can be spaces where like women can engage in communal discussion.
It's a stitch and bitch.
It's a stitch and bitch. And I do think there is something radical in that. Yeah, I also thought it was interesting the crafts that they chose to highlight. So that it's lace making and weaving, which are two things that you don't necessarily see very often in media. I don't think I've ever seen lace making in modern media.
It's very technical skills too.
Yeah.
Like these are like
Yeah.
lace making and weaving are so like a very, very time consuming technical process. Not saying that like, because like any type of like sewing, crafting, knitting, like all of these are really time consuming technical things.
Oh no, but for sure lace making is definitely
Yes.
Lace
It's
making,
tedious.
it's like the brain power.
Yeah.
This also is just making me think too of like the fact that like, you know, this often is co-opted by like very conservative minded people, and you know is used to be like a way to control what women do. Is also just like, it's funny because it reminds me of like the conservative women who like have these like big political careers but then push women to stay at home barefoot and pregnant.
Yeah.
It's like you have this career but you're telling women to not have a career.
Exactly.
And so it's so hypocritical, and that's kind of similar to this too. It's like you're telling women that like all you need to do is stay at home and take care of the house and like and that's all you can do. But these skills that they're doing are so technical, they're so involved, it takes so much brain power to learn how to do. You're learning how to do something, and therefore you're not just sitting at home taking care of the kids. Like you're crafting clothing for your family to wear. Like it's very, very technical.
Well, this is another interesting thing, because all of the costumes, like none of the costumes include any of these things. Like none of them include like lace embellishments, none of them include embroidery. I guess weaving, they're woven garments.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't actually see the the end product. Yeah, I had conflicting feelings about it. I didn't know how I felt about how it was being used. But it is nice to see these skills being shown on screen.
It just sucks that it's in this context. Like
it does kind of suck. Yeah.
I'd love to see like these shots in like not this context, like a more like, I don't know, cool, like, because like genuinely Stitch and Bitches are like where people like, where women like spoke and shared thoughts and ideas, and like I'd love to see something like that in media that's not like, and they're conservative and this is, and you know, like and
I will say like the girls themselves are constantly questioning everything. I mean, this whole show is kind of, I'm assuming, building up to them breaking away from all of this, but it is in the backdrop of preparing them all for marriage, you know. Well, that kind of sums up everything. That was the last bit I wanted to get into.
Beautiful. That was so interesting. I mean, I think honestly, knitwear and dystopian movies and television and all of that is something that I've always seen, and I've always been like, interesting.
Right? That's like, like I've never really properly thought about it before, but I'm like, this is something happening here.
And I think especially the Bugonia, like I'm like, that is like so like,
I'm gonna be thinking about that.
Yeah,
your girls, you just make me love you more, because like you're hiring people to make those stuff, like you're hiring artisans to create art, and you're letting them do what they want.
For them to like,
you're letting them do what they're good at.
I don't know what went down with that, like how much of that like was, they were sought out because of what they were already doing, or like he like came in with a pitch and was like, can you make this?
Yeah, this was all the costume designer, and she was just like, hey, I have this idea, are you down? And he was like,
just like someone to like imagine like being like, will you give me a lot of money and a team so that I can use really big knitting needles? And he's like,
for like a 2-minute clip at the end of the film. Incredible.
But see, that's like, okay, the AI could never, like these are the things that it's like artists coming together to do their like highly special skill for like a second in a movie, but it sticks in people's minds. Like I will forever remember that scene in Bugonia, like pretty much alone. Like that was so like visually like impactful and interesting. So that's what movies are all about, guys. Movies are all about. Y'all, you should watch movies.
Support the arts.
That's our message for today. If there's something we missed, if there's
Yeah.
knitwear,
Yes,
dystopian
please,
knitwear
'cause
that
I
has
feel
come up.
like there must be something. There must
There
be
has
something
to
I've
be
missed.
more. It's just such a vast genre. And, you know, we went
Yeah.
also into a little fantasy and science fiction and stuff like that, too. So any of that, let us know.
And tell us what your favorite knitwear in
Yeah.
media is. Doesn't
Or
have
just
to be
tell
sci-fi.
us,
Could be
tell us
anything.
anything. Tell us
Just
what you're
chat.
thinking.
Just comment
talk to
something.
us.
Just talk to
Talk
us.
to us.
We love the comments. They're so fun.
We do.
We're always
Yes.
we're texting each other about them constantly. Like, look what they said.
Truly.
And yeah.
And then everyone should follow Sana's Instagram, Smithereens Knitwear. Sana makes the best knitwear. We need to plug that, so follow.
But also go follow our Instagram account and subscribe.
All right, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.